What's up, John? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Josh? Happy to be here.
Dude, how are you doing, man? I've been lucky enough, right? I live in the Northeast, and I just happened to meet a few people that know a few people, and I've got to sit down with all these people and have dinner and maybe a buffet or whatever. And like anyone from like Kenwood to Derek Brundle to Matt Conant, and then you as well. Now that you're someone who has a first place finish in a really big event. It's I feel pretty blessed. How are you feeling these days?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. When I met Ken, I never thought he was gonna, do as well as he did. The next thing you know, he's winning events, and then everybody else in Mass is winning events, and I'm like, God damn, I gotta punch my ticket. So I
Right, no
mean, it's
shit.
been it's been really cool. And then yeah, meeting you along the way, had dinner in New York. That was cool. I mean, it's a pretty small world.
It really is. It really is. But before we really get into it, man, it's the first time on the show. Obviously, I know you a little better than a few other people, but introduce yourself, kind of just let them know who you are, what you've done, what you're doing now, and a little bit more than fishing because we know that's what you do.
Yeah, yeah. So John Ferreira from Massachusetts, 45 south of Boston. Um, I'm a new father who just likes to fish. Currently working for a solar company as a trainer. So that's what I do in my other time I'm not fishing. But man, mainly it's fishing. That's hard to not do, whether it's ice fishing or getting on the yak and getting out there.
Well, cool, man. Well, how'd you get into the kayak world? Have you been in it for a while?
So I had a little crappy sit-in. Um, I bought one about 5 years ago, and then I was driving around. I think back from work one day, and I drove by, or it was like a Saturday, a body of water, and I saw a whole bunch of these kayakers out there. I'm like, the hell's going on? Because I had been fishing out of mine for a little bit, small local ponds. I see all these guys out there with big rigs. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So at the time, I was pretty relatively new to kayak fishing. I was on Fish Brain, and I saw one of the guys had posted one of their fish. I recognized it was a yellow Hobie. It was hard not to see. So I commented and I was like, "Hey, did I see you guys out today?" And then he told me it was Massachusetts kayak bassin. So I instantly joined the group, and then started fishing with them. And man, it's been downhill ever since. It's a healthy habit, I'd like to say.
Right. It's a weird habit because it's like it's everything you do is important and it costs money, and you're trying to convince yourself that it's worth it, especially now that we got kids and shit and wives and stuff like that. It's just like every time I went and bought some plastics today that I need. Like I
Yeah.
don't need them, but I need them, and so I end up spending like $25 here, $50 there, and then and before you know it's like, did I already spend $1,000 this year? And the season
It,
barely
it's
started.
it's funny. So you go to a store and you're like, oh, I'll just grab a couple bags of plastic, and 25 bucks later. But then you do that like 3-4 times a month, and it's like it adds up. It adds up really quick.
Real
I'm,
quick.
I'm
You don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. But
no, I'm glad my fiance doesn't know how much I spend on tackle.
yeah, yeah. Wait till you share that joint marriage account. It
Yeah.
gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
But shit, man. You're a Northeast guy, dude. It's been really like I'm in upstate New York, but it's been really like we've already talked a little bit about it, like some of the people we know. But it's really crazy how good these people are in the Northeast and the people we kind of our inner circles that we have. Um, it's amazing. Like I mean, like I would say this, and I've said a story a few times on the podcast before, but the first time I met Derek Brundle was at Lake George. That was not last year, but the year before that, and that was before anyone knew who he was. And they say, he's the rookie of the year. He's going into the 10. By the end of the season, he's a star. As far a star in our little our little part, our little world. But and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the following season, I meet up with you guys again. Where I was staying with him and Matt Conant and Rob down in down at the Sandy Cooper when we all went down there, and and the Matt Conant, no one knew who he was going to be, and he ended up being like the rookie of the year, the national champion, the first to win the whatever the three things they had, like all kinds of shit. He did whatever there was to win. He won it at the national championship, and then this year you fishing at the the first trail event, one of the biggest trail events in KBF history, I think. I'm not sure. I know someone was arguing about it, but it doesn't matter. It's still a pretty big event to win. Anytime you win first place at an event, like in one of those events, it's pretty big, and it's crazy to see how good like the Northeast guys have done at these KBF events. Like, what do you think that is? Like, what do you think? What are you guys doing? And it's not just the Northeast, because I live in the Northeast too, but it's all
Yeah.
from like this Massachusetts, New England area. All you guys with those weird accents just down there going to the south and just putting ass whoopings on people. But what it is, like, what are you guys doing up there to kind of help you become like successful at these? Because like it's not just winning in your home state. Like, you're winning like a long ways away from home. Florida's not it's not a short bus ride from Massachusetts. Like, what is it about that area that's making you guys so successful?
That's tough to really pin down. I mean, these guys have obviously they've been fishing for a long time. Kayak bass fishing has just been a conduit for them to really expose who they are. And then you got newer comers like Joe DeDeo. He hit the ground running as well. He was the rookie in 2018, a rookie of the year rather. It's just, I guess, dedication and time. I'm sure it's all over the place, but
Right.
it's coming from the Northeast. It's just I don't know what it is. I can't say it's like the types of body of water, because we got a lot of clear water, deep water, and then a lot of like muddy, small
Right.
whatever. It's just, but that's everywhere, most places. That's really hard to pin down. So I honestly, maybe it's dedication. I'm not saying other anglers aren't dedicated, but maybe we have something to prove, and then we're really trying to do that. I know I'm sick of getting my ass kicked by people on trails and stuff too. So that it puts that drive in us, I guess.
Well, I think one of the things that I noticed, especially like with the guys we already talked about, like there's a pretty tight knit circle up here, and guys, especially you and your crew and Derek and his crew, but like you guys don't travel alone. Like, you guys travel in crews, across the country. I mean, like Derek and Matt, the Bash brothers, whatever you want to call them now.
Yeah.
Like these guys, you and Ken, like all you guys do is travel and fish together. I mean, I wonder if it's like something similar to that, where like you guys are just whatever you guys are learning, you're learning together, or you're sharing knowledge, or whatever. But it's just like you guys aren't out there like just fishing alone. Like, I mean, great, I know like kayak fishing is an individual sport, but at the same time, you guys are pretty tight. You guys are pretty tight teams.
So we travel as I know. I can speak for Ken and I. We travel as a team, right? But we have totally different fishing styles. Like we always mention, like, man, we should really work together more to try to figure out something bigger and better. But it's always like we get to the launch, or say if we're together, he goes one way, I go the other, and then it's like we don't even really do things. And then we end up fishing completely different things. So as we're separate entities, it's tough to really.
Right.
And I know Derek does that with Conant as well. And Pagnano at the national championship fished a completely different spot that
Right.
Brundle and Conant was doing, and he ended up killing it.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think it's so much teamwork. I just think it's like strapping down and really getting after it and really putting in the work.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's still I still find it pretty like it's pretty impressive. Like when you see it, and then like granted, like I just happen to be able, like, every now and then I just end up at the same dinner table with you weirdos, and it's just cool to see that everyone being as successful as they are. But what's been kind of like your like your journey through this, as far as like starting off and then moving up, and then finally, I don't know if this is your first national tournament you won, right?
Yeah, this is my first
Yeah, so
national.
like going through that, because I mean that's got to be like a breaking point, because like I'm not there yet. I haven't really got my hand raised, and I'm waiting for like whatever these people talk about, where it just clicks and you just figure shit out, and next thing you know, like you're on it or whatever. But it just hasn't happened. But what's been like your experience going through, like, just through the trenches and moving all your way up to finally getting that big first place check?
It started with getting my ass kicked at local trails, like fishing with Ken. And the guys that fish in Massachusetts kayak bassin are tough acts to follow. We have some really, really good guys. A lot of them don't travel as much as they want to, but you get tired of getting beat, and then you just get better eventually. Like you learn things, you pick things up along the way, and then it becomes almost mental, second nature. Like, yeah, it does just essentially click, but it's like, along the way, you automatically know, depending on the weather, what type of water you're fishing. It just becomes second nature to do certain things, and then you find your own techniques. Like, I know I experiment a lot with different things. I never really try to like fish the same 5 baits or whatever. I'm always, throwing something just a little different and trying to get better than that. And then I can realize, oh, this technique works better in this situation out of state or even at a different local body of water. So yeah, I was tired of getting my ass kicked by these guys. And then I was just, focusing, learning, reading, YouTube, everything. And then, I started catching up to them. And then next thing you know, a couple years later, I can hang. And, I'm winning or placing well in local events. But I also started, soon after I started fishing the local events, I just jumped into KBF because I thought it was so cool. I'm used to traveling with like buddies' bands and stuff. So I always enjoyed just getting on the road and going. So I sucked at KBF events when I first started going. I think the first 2 I skunked or something. I don't know. But you just, once again, you hunker down and you try to really figure out, oh man, why did I do that? This body of water is like this. Now I know better. And then essentially you fish enough and figure out patterns and certain things that you're good at. And it kind of happened. Like it's weird. Like I didn't ever expect to win a trail in Florida, but I followed my gut and it worked out for me. And it doesn't always work, but it worked out for me then. And it's worked out for me in past KBF events where I've cashed checks. I've never been able to win, but I've always, been either really close to cashing a check or cashing checks. So
you felt it coming. Like I didn't get to fish with the guys. I didn't get to fish with you guys too much last year because the whole COVID thing. But I did 2 events. I think we did the Santee Cooper and we did Lake George together. But did you start feeling it last year? Like you're getting close, and then
I never expected to win. I always shot to win, but I never thought I would. I was just like, I need to get as many AOI points as possible. Past couple of years, man, I've been really close to getting in the 10. I think 2019, I was 13th in the KBF, and last year I was 15th. So I'm like always really that close. And so I'm just like, I'm going to go to these trails and I'm going to try to get the best outcome I can so I can get in the 10 because that's the ultimate goal. But this one I hit the ball out of the park, I guess.
Right. Well, this is your second year down there in Florida, right? Like you went last year. Now, did you what advantages did you feel you had, or like how did that help you? I mean, did it help you as far as like already kind of eliminating water, or did you have to go down there and start over again? Did you feel like you were on familiar grounds when you got down there?
Yes and no. I covered a lot of water that I didn't touch in the previous year, just to see if I could find something better than I had. I didn't do well last year in the Invitational. I sucked. I don't even think I caught a limit each day. It was humbling, but then I did the Big Bass Brawl. I had to stick around because of Ken. I traveled down with him and he was in the 10. So I did the Big Bass Brawl and my bite for the next 2 days was on fire. So I was just like, it was cool. I made some cash off that, but then I used that same information, to the body of water I fished this year. So basically I spent the entire week eliminating or trying to figure out if I wanted to fish a different body of water, which ultimately it came down to where I fished last year, which was great. And it treated me well for the first day.
So how long did you, obviously you traveled with Kim back then. How long did you guys give yourself to get down there and the pre-fish and because both of you were trying, because like last year Kim was already in the 10, but this year he was going down there to try to get back into the house. Yep. And obviously the trail events were important because both of you guys are always trying to get back into the 10, and those points are very important. So those trails were probably really important to you guys going this year. But how much practice did you guys get? Did you guys stick together? Was it I don't even got to say what you guys stick together. I already know the answer to that. But like the pre-fishing, how was that? Because I know like one of the crazy things about Florida are it seems like a good place. Like it's a good place to fish, but then all of a sudden like these cold fronts start coming in out of nowhere and they'll ruin your day. Like whatever you thought you had yesterday, it's not going to be there tomorrow during these like whatever colder months they got down there.
Right. We got down there Monday night. So my ordeal was where I work, they have an office down there. So I actually got to work a little bit and make it like a work ordeal. So that was cool. So I worked Tuesday for a couple hours and then got right on the water. And then just started eliminating water. I fished with Ken maybe one day on Thursday. I can't remember, but it was mainly all on our own. Um, Joe DeDeo was also staying with us, and he was fishing. He was eliminating or practicing, trying to find some water as well. So we kind of gathered the intel together, but did our own thing naturally.
Yeah.
So I'd say I had 4 or 3.5 solid days of pre-fishing at least,
Now,
which was
was it as helpful? Because I've talked to a few people that were down there fishing it, and they said that I mean, obviously pre-fishing is always good for multiple reasons, but it said like it's hard to put your faith into whatever bite you find because of how quick the weather changes or how those fronts coming in. I was even talking to the Drew Gregory about it the other day on the show. It's just you just can't. It's just one of those places where it's just like it's going to change. And that's one of the things like too much pre-fishing can be too much pre-fishing. How did you feel about it? Going through your pre-fishing, then going into like the day of the first tournament.
so I didn't pre-fish the body of water I fished at all. Just because I knew I did so well last year. So I put all my faith in it.
Okay.
And it worked out. It's tough. There's such thing as too much pre-fishing. But when there's that many bodies of water to fish and that much water to coverage, it's not bad to try to eliminate or try to figure out something.
Right.
Because there's just almost, it feels like an infinite amount of water down there, and you might find a spot on a spot that is just, it refreshes fish coming in and out. It might be a couple patches of spatterdock that have current coming in from one side to the main lake that fish are going to come out in and out all day. So it could be something like that. But I was unsuccessful at finding those, so I just went back to the old faithful.
Okay. So you had your old shit place to go when things got weird.
Yeah, exactly. Except it failed for me on the second day. I
Yeah.
found my bite. My whole spot that I was fishing was blown out from the wind, and I found my spot too late in the day and only ended up with 4 fish. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Now game day. How'd you feel like going into like the day one or the first trail event? Like, was it were you feeling pretty confident? Like, well, how do you feel most of the time you do these tournaments? Is it just do you just go out there and just do what you do? Do you think about things a lot? Do you think, because especially now that I didn't realize like how close you were in the previous year to accomplishing certain things that you wanted to accomplish, but like what is it like for you? Are you one of those guys who gets nervous? Are you one of those guys who just it is what it is, or what? How do you handle it?
So I know I was talking to my old lady about this tournament. I was like, I have a chance. I might be able to do it because I've been here and did that. But come tournament day, I'm like, oh shit, man, I really hope these fish are here because I didn't touch it. I'm like, oh man,
Right.
please. And it started off, honestly, my day started off really crummy. Like I started off by breaking off something in the morning, whether it was a bowfin or not. It was massive, dude. And I was like, oh great. And then I didn't see a fish for a couple hours, and I thought, I'm like, oh great, this is an old faithful. It's gonna bite me in the ass. But yeah, I moved around for a bit, found a spot that I liked. It was like a couple football field lengths long of just this sparse Kissimmee grass, pads in it, spatterdock every once in a while, and the fish were there.
Well, how do you handle that? 'Cause that's something that I struggle with. Like, I would probably do a lot better, at the tournament fishing if I had a better brain, if my mind wasn't so whatever. Like because you show up in the morning and you want that early morning bite or whatever, or you want to find fish right away so you can feel better about yourself. And like one of the things that happens, like if I don't start finding fish, I do get nervous. I do start to panic, and then all of a sudden I just start moving, and not really, just not really doing a good job of finding fish, but just more like just trying to find something that's gonna make me feel comfortable, and you just never find it because whatever. Like I said, I'm just moving now because I'm scared I'm not gonna find fish. It happened to me at Lake George a few times, and it's really weird because like the places I was fishing at Lake George, like I picked the right spots, the bodies of water, because the places I was fishing was where those motherfuckers won the tournament at. And so it was just like, if I would have been patient, if I would have just slowed down and just realized there's a reason why I picked that spot or whatever, like I'm not saying I would have won, but maybe would have had better success and not had such a sad drive home. So it's just like what do you do like when it gets like what rough like that? How hard are you on yourself? Like, is it one of those things where you've just been there before and you just got that kind of experience where you start trusting what you think that you're doing and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I can break it down both my days because they were polar opposites of how I was. So the first day, I finally got to this spot, and I was like, this looks really good. Boom, caught a 22.5 or something like that. I'm like, all right, there's fish here. So I started fishing it, and I didn't really see much action. I'm like, I'm looking at everything. I'm standing up, looking around. I'm like, there's got to be fish in here. Look at this place. So I slowed down. I just slowed everything down. I told myself, I'm like, look at this place. There's no way there's not more fish in here. Um, and eventually, one fish after half an hour, boom, a fish. Half hour, boom, a fish. So I had to really bring myself down and slow everything down because, if you find a fish, the majority of the time there's other fish there.
Right.
Whether they might not be next to each other, which I covered a lot of water. I covered this 2 football field stretch for the rest of the day, and I caught, I don't know, a dozen fish all day, which is great. Some of them are keepers, some of them weren't.
Yeah.
But I just really had to slow myself down and convince myself there's fish in here.
Yeah, well, I think like one of the things like going back to Lake George, like the second day that we were there, I can't remember exactly like the area that I went to, but the first bunch of hours I just could not find a fish, and I'm just moving, I'm panicking. But for some reason, I look at my fish finder and I see like, oh shit, there's a lot of activity going on under here, and so I start drop shotting, and like within like a few casts, I catch a fish, not a huge one, but a decent sized largemouth. I'm like, okay, and then I dropped it again, and a few casts later, I caught like a small smallie. I'm like, okay, there's fish here. But because I didn't get any on like the fifth or 10th time that I dropped, I start moving, and like, one of the things that I think about is like, why not stay there? Like you saw things that you liked, you saw things that could produce fish, and you did see some fish. Like there's like if there's bait fish there, like there's things I wish I would have. I told myself to stop the panic. As the hours start going on and you still don't have your limit. Start thinking about like there's bait fish here. Like there's gonna be fish here. You need to be patient.
Right.
And there's some of these things that I forget to tell myself. Like when I'm in the tournament because of whatever reason. Like for some reason, getting that limit is like it's just so goddamn important. That I'm willing to do all the dumbest shit that you could possibly do in a day. Travel 6 miles away from a place that you caught fish, but it just wasn't. You didn't catch the ones you wanted, and it's just like there are things that you look at like to kind of tell yourself like to calm down. Like, okay, look, there's this here, there's that there. If you move, it's not. I guess like my thing is like, yeah, I could move, but how do I know anything else is gonna be any better right now? You know what I mean? Like this is the spot that I found within like it's taken me 3 hours to find this. Like, you think you're gonna catch fish somewhere else? I mean, like there's like I guess one of those things like there's fish here. You just need to trust what you know, and stop thinking that something's gonna be better because you don't know if it's gonna be better, and you have no reason to think it's gonna be better because I don't know. I feel there's always like there's a pattern, and that's kind of where the fish they stay in whatever that pattern of the day is gonna be or the pattern of the moment's gonna be. And to panic and go all over the place, and you just forget the things that you know about fishing, like follow the bait fish. What does the bottom look like, and why would there be fish here? And there's these things that I just forget in the heat of it because tournaments is such a mind fuck when you're really like deep into a tournament and everyone else, especially if you look at the leaderboard. It's just what are some of the things that you kind of tell yourself to kind of like you don't have to move or you should move,
Yeah, when things aren't working out, your brain automatically clicks into panic mode. Next thing you know, you're buzzing around, casting left, right, casting. Oh, was that a fish? No, casting left, right. Oh, patch of grass. Oh, nothing on it. Like it really sucks. I definitely did that the second day. Yeah, where I was, the wind was coming. It was brutal. It was like 20, 25 mile per hour gusts, with like a constant of like 18 mile per hour. So my spot was awful, and I caught a couple fish flipping spatterdock, which I didn't want to slow down, and I should have slowed down because I caught 2 fish flipping this one small patch of spatterdock, and then I was like, light went off, and
right?
then I tried fishing all that spatterdock in that area, but I couldn't get a position because I kept blowing away or towards, even on spot lock. It was awful. So I made a run, and then I tried fishing everything on that run, whether it was like whatever I could, and then I went back to Spatterdock with like an hour left, and I ended up catching 3 fish
Yeah,
in 45 minutes. And I'm like, why didn't I just slow
right.
down
That's what I'm
and
getting
fish
at.
something
Like,
that?
yeah, that kind of
So
stuff is what I'm talking about. Like, how it's you left a spot that you knew had, or for whatever reason, out of a panic, and then like you end up coming back and you realize like how successful you could have been at that spot And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's so weird. You can't shut your brain off and you can't remember simple things like don't leave fish to go find fish, or whatever those sayings are or the rules are.
Right. Exactly. It's definitely it's frustrating, and you get really down on yourself. You start calling yourself terrible names, or at least I do.
I'm not doing this shit anymore. I can't believe I traveled all. Can't believe I traveled all here, spent all this money just to. Yeah, it's like it's one of the like I've done a lot of like competitive sports in my life, and this has been like probably like the toughest one because it's the most losingest sport I've ever done, and there's a lot of things that are outside your control, but there's also so much that's like within your control that you don't. It just like you truly see like the difference between being like a great angler and then just immediate like it's not just fishing. There's so much else that goes into this. There's so many things, and then there's this mental game that you got to have too, because you got to have like the confidence in like your abilities or and what to be able to stick with something and to make things work. Because I think that's like my biggest problem with with tournament fishing is I don't have like the mindset figured out to where I can sit there and on a hot shitty day and force myself to fish a way that I'm not getting that like instant gratification that you want or that you need. Like, so it's like you have to like just sit there and just trust that you're doing the right thing, but you have no idea if you're doing the right thing.
Right.
It's such a
But
weird.
you gotta look at it this way. Like even the elites skunk. Like it
Right.
happens. Like it's just not us. It's everybody. It happens. And that definitely helps me mentally when I think about those things. When you're watching MLF and then like you see like I don't know Van Dam put up like 5 fish when everybody else is putting up 100 something pounds. It's that definitely in the back of my mind helps me out. Like then I don't know. It's crazy. I've been in tournaments where I have an hour left and I catch 5 fish in
Yeah.
5 minutes. Like every other cast is a fish, a keeper, a good keeper. And next thing you know, I'm in the money in less than an hour. It happens. Crazy things happen like that.
Yeah.
So that also is a drive. Like it just works out and it's definitely. But also, what about you're fishing a tournament and you feel that bink, and then you set the hook and you're like, oh, and dopamine's rushing, adrenaline's rushing. That's me. That I know that feeling's just around. That could be the next cast. And
Right.
that is a rush that is a driving force too.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the things that keep us doing it. But I got a question to ask you. Like, I was watching the video. Like, someone was filming like when you won first place, and like there was like this look that obviously you were like, oh shit, I did it. There's also like a look that you almost expected to win it, or like you thought that there was a really good chance that you were going to win it. Like, what'd you think? Like going through the day, as hard as it was or easy as it was, like, did you know throughout the day that you kind of had it in the bag, or what, or like, what'd you think like the whole day, all the way up until like they finally called your name and said that you won the event?
Man, I honestly didn't feel like that at all.
I'm going strictly off
Probably
what it looked like. So
yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. I don't smile a lot because I had 4 of my front teeth knocked out when I was younger, and one of my teeth had to be I had a root canal, and it failed after years. So I don't smile a lot because of it. So maybe that put off the fall. I didn't. It was all. It's still surreal to me. Like I had no idea if I won or not. Like I was calling Ken on the way back to the launch because I didn't have service enough or data, the service for data. Like Ken, it's 4:06. What is going on? Like, did I pull it off? Like, and then he said, dude, you did it. And I was just, it's just like, holy it's a real feeling, especially, if somebody, this is my first win. I still can't explain it. It's such a good feeling. It's just, I really just hope it's momentum. Like, I
right.
just want keep going. Like I'm going to try to use this as momentum as much as I possible. But for explaining how I felt, like it's almost like it didn't happen, but it
Right.
did. Like,
Well, I feel like for a lot of you guys, hopefully the day comes for me soon, but it's like it's almost like you just get used to losing so much, because it is such a hard sport. And no matter
yeah,
like you can have a great, like to me, like a great tournament is finishing top. Like if I finish top 10, especially, and I haven't done it like in a national event, but like, finishing top 10 and having your name close to some of these people who have won terms of 4, that's enough to keep me excited. But still, you still didn't win. You know what I mean? You still didn't win.
Yeah.
Like you're still like the eighth loser or whatever that you want to call it. And so it's just like you get so used to losing. I couldn't imagine like what winning really feels like. I couldn't imagine. Like you look at someone like Russ Schneider and like the people who've won like multiple tournaments. It's like I don't even want to think about those guys anymore. Like it's like do you guys just know you're going to win? Does it even are you even surprised anymore? And I look at someone like you and I saw the look on your face when you won. I'm like, oh shit, that just changed his life, or
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. I look at things like that. When you see people who win for the first time or haven't won in a very long time, and it's just like it looks surreal from on the outside because it's like these things. Like I've done tournaments where you like hard tournaments, like the Santee and the year at Lake George. Those weren't easy tournaments. Like Lake George in like August or something. That's not a good time to fish Lake George. That's, and the Santee was just it was cold, windy, and miserable, and like only like 6 people caught limits, I think, and something like that. And it's just like you just get so used to like those and not being the winner that like I couldn't imagine like like the feeling of placing first place, especially in an event. Like, especially I always think that the first event of any trail series is going to be pretty important.
Yeah, people are coming out swinging.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, I don't know if you've seen the picture from Mike Elsey in the national championship where he's holding the check like that.
Yeah.
Like that was me in my head. That's how I was feeling in my head. I guess I kept a little bit of composure, but that's how I was feeling inside for sure.
Yeah, and I can't imagine because I guess the worst part about it because like we're all just trying to be good at the sport, and we're all trying to be winners. That's the way it is. Like you don't spend the thousands of dollars of travel and gear to not try to be a winner at this sport. It doesn't make sense if you don't. And I think like the scariest thing would be is the win. But you don't want it to be a one-hit wonder. Like you want to keep win. Like like what's the point? Like if you just win one first place and then you spend the rest of the time like just sucking or whatever. Like all these things. Because I imagine it takes time to like even for one to even accept the fact that you won an event, and now to like can I replicate this? Can I make this happen over and over again? We still got like a whole season ahead of us. And the sport's growing, and there's so many good anglers, and so many people who we didn't know were good anglers that are good anglers. I mean, it's just who knows what kind of pressure you're under right now.
Oh, it's a
to
ton
yourself.
Of pressure.
I'm not saying like the pressure we're putting on. I'm talking about the pressure that you're going to put on yourself because, dude, like for like that was it. That's the first tournament of the year. Like there's no other winners but you right now, and obviously the guy who won the second day.
Yeah, Russ, of course, he crushed it.
Exactly. That's just Russ. Whatever, Russ.
It's there's definitely a lot of pressure mentally. I mean, it's just now I have to hunker down some more. Lake Murray's coming up. I can't wait for that. There's a lot of water to cover there. There's definitely different parts of the lake, different styles of fishing you can make happen. So I'm gonna swing for the stands on that one. I know there's definitely a little pressure in the back of my mind, but we'll see. I mean, consistency is a big deal. And fortunately for me, I've always been consistent, but not enough just to push me in the 10. That's my goal.
Well, let me ask you this, since you are like, and this is probably a perfect time to talk to you about this because this is your first win. And so you're starting this thing out, but like, do you feel like you got a system in place or because like there's so much that goes into fishing, like not just the techniques that you enjoy using, but just like the pre-fishing, like the things the way you eliminate water, and then we already talked about like the mental game. Are there things do you think you have things in order? Do you feel different now? Like it is put together, like we're all just trying to figure this out, and hopefully one day that we'll have a system that not necessarily makes us win all the time, but keeps us, in what we consider as being a successful angler. Like I said, like you look at someone like Brundle and Matt Conant, they seem like they have a system. They probably won't ever tell you their system, but it's in everything they do. It's in the way they travel. It's the fact that he bought a van to travel in. It's the thing in like how long they go down there to pre-fish. Like I don't know if you ever stayed with them pre-fishing, but it's not the way I pre-fish. Those guys aren't drinking beers and having a time of their life out in the backyard. Like those guys are like they're doing these specific things to get them ready for the next day, to get them ready for the tournament. Do you feel like you have figured like in play like I guess like the formula or the recipe for like your success?
I definitely have a system in place. Whether or not it's the best, it's probably not, but it's always getting better. I'm trying to make it better. And I think that's why I've been able to be as consistent, is sticking to this system I have that I figure out works for me. Everybody's different.
Right.
So if you can figure out something that's working for you and then, putting you on fish, you better run with it and then, try to improve. That's the main goal, is always trying to be better, always trying to figure out something else and then
Right.
adding it to the repertoire.
So yeah. So what are you thinking about the rest of the season? Like, I mean, is it going to be? Is it going to be like, 'cause now that you are, you're up there in the runnings now, and like you've always had, you said you've had a pretty consistent year last year. I mean, like, are we going to be road warriors again? Are we going to? Are you and Ken going to travel to all the KBF events? Are you looking at doing Hobie events? I think, aren't you guys also doing the the KFL? Did I say that right?
Yeah, KFL as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot on our plate this year. I know Ken is making a real big run for it. He's got a crazy season booked ahead of him between all the events, KBF, EKF, and everything. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can. Fortunately, I got these Kissimmee and then Murray's really close together. That's gonna work for me. But then I gotta kind of really start scheduling out what I can and can't make. I mean, I'm gonna try to definitely make all the EKF ones. I'm gonna try to make everything I can. That's it. It all depends on work and
Right.
how much the old lady loves me. But if I keep winning, then I can.
It's easier to have that conversation.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, hey, I'll buy you this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I keep winning, eventually I'll win this much, and then we can buy a new house or something. I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility. But are you going to chase KBF pretty hard? Like, I had to make a choice. 'Cause I'm like you. I'm a family man, and so I can't job, so I can't just go do everything. I got to be very strategic in how I plan my season. And so, like, this year, I'm like, the way the Hobie schedule worked out, I'm like, it's a tough schedule, or not tough schedule, but tougher than what I want to be, like the whole 2-day thing. But like, it just makes sense to me because like the 4 events I can hit and where they're at. I just decided to go with Hobie. And I've done KBF in the past, and it just doesn't work out this year with the way KBF made their changes. But is that kind of what you're leaning to? Because I mean, you already got the momentum going in the KBF. You've the goal of the 10 and all that kind of stuff. Is that kind of where you want to stay?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna roll mainly KBF. There are a couple Hobie events, especially Champlain,
Yeah.
that I would like to hit. I mean, I'm not biased towards anything.
Right.
A tournament's a tournament, and so whatever works for me best, honestly. So who knows? I'm gonna try. Like I said, I'm gonna try to fish as much as I can.
Now, what do you think about the elite kayak fishing? That's us being Northeast guys. Like, I'm pretty excited about that. How do you feel about it?
I hope it's the biggest goddamn thing the Northeast has seen.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
can't
same
wait
way.
for it.
I don't know what happened because I'm not from New York, man. I'm from
Yeah,
Florida, but I've been up
yeah,
here. I got stationed at Fort Drum, and I've been up here since 2011. And I'm like, I just embraced this winter apocalypse and this world we live in, like the lifestyle. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm a whatever. Like, this is where but like, dude, I love the Northeast, and like, I don't know what it is. Like, when it comes like the kayak fishing, I'm very like biased. I'm like, dude, I want everything Northeast, like Northeast anglers, everything. It's like, when I set my schedule, I'm like, well, I don't want to travel across the country. I want to stay up here because we got the best fishing up here, or whatever it is. I'm just really weird. I don't know if it's true, and I'm just being childish or whatever. But like this tournament series, I want it to be like just fucking huge. I want, like, when you
yeah.
guys come to the Cayuga, like, I want my house, I want my basement just full of bodies of all my friends. I'm only like 45 minutes away from the lake. I just,
Oh man.
it's just like, I want it to be, showdown. I want people to be, I want the rest of the country to be jealous of what we got going up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if everybody else has seen the schedule, but goddamn, it is stacked with some awesome bodies of water. Champlain, Cayuga, Messalonskee. Like,
Yeah.
these places are unreal fisheries, and they can hold the big tournaments. So I really hope people show out for it. So I
We
mean,
gotta convince them though. We got to get in these, because that's one thing that is about the Northeast guys. They're kind of stingy when it comes to tournament fishing. Like, I've already seen some complaints about the buy-ins. I'm like, yeah, but if you win, you get a lot of money back. It's like, good.
yeah, yeah.
Quit being so weird about this.
But the buy-in, it's less than Hobie. It's a little more than KBF. It's bigger pots and bigger chances than your local clubs.
Yeah.
I know. My local club, MAKB, all those guys are really excited for it because they don't have to make the 10-hour trip.
Right.
Or minimum 10 hour. Like, oh man, the amount of time we spend in our cars is unreal.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, I'm
So
I'm
they're
really
excited for it.
excited. I can't wait. Like people don't understand like how good like Cayuga can be in May. Like it's like I made a mistake. I said I thought the winter would be like 97 inches, and like Ken immediately like, oh bullshit, it's gonna be like 102. I'm like, you're probably right. I played a little safe because it's still the Northeast, but it's just like and people don't understand like the giant largemouth, but giant smallmouth, like big smallmouth. I know down south they talk about the Susquehanna and like in these river small. I get it; those are nice. There's big fish, but like, dude, come catch one of these gigantic, smallmouth out of Cayuga. Like offshore, just a little. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just like I'm just lucky. I'm spoiled because I live 5 minutes north of like Oneida, and I live like 45 minutes east of Cayuga. Then I live like an hour south of the St. Lawrence River.
Oh man.
It's just like, dude, like I live in a mecca.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone to come here and see it. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's going to be an incredible tournament, and I think people are going to be shocked with like the kind of fish they're going to be pulling out, especially during that time. It's going to be like pre-spawn. They're going to be hungry.
Giants.
It's going to be a blowout. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah. And I mean, the guys that are running it, you got Ken, you got Jason,
yeah,
you got Adam Rourke. These are all diehard kayak anglers as well. They spend just as much time on the water as all of us. So support EKF is supporting kayak bass fishing or kayak fishing,
yeah,
uh, which is what we're here to do. I mean, it's essentially it's a small community, but it's a powerful community.
yeah. Well, cool, man. I won't take up too much of your time, but last question, and then I'll let you do some plugs and stuff like that. But like, has anything changed for you as far as you want an event, people start noticing you? Have you gotten like, do you see like fishing becoming a little bit easier because of this? As far as like, I don't know if I call it sponsorship anymore or partnership or like deep pro staff discounts or whatever. But has anything happened to you that's that you've seen from just winning your first event like this?
Not really. I mean, I'm still a nobody. Until I make a huge showing. If I win 3 events, I don't know
Yeah,
anything. I'm not a big name. I'm shooting to be one,
yeah,
and hopefully I will become one. But as of now, no. I mean, I'm trying to make contacts here and there, trying to be
right,
the best I can be. I don't really jump on the whole pro staff
right,
thing. I mean, if I have to, like work with companies that I use that I thoroughly enjoy or that I like using, I'll do that. But I'm not gonna, you know, pro staff,
right.
Instagram hashtag, all that,
Yeah, I hear you.
just to get my name out there or just to get a 15% discount code or something. That's not really my style. If a company wants to approach me and we can talk because of maybe they see potential in me or something,
Right.
then and I like them, hell yeah, I'll rep the shit out of them. But I only represent what I truly believe in.
Right. No, that's fair enough. Just wondering because like it's just weird. Do you see like some guys when they win a tournament, like immediately, like their life changes, like they get picked up by this, and I don't know if it's because we're northeast and we don't live close to all the big places like dugout, whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. Like it is what
But we're also uncharted territory. I mean, a lot of
that's what I
companies don't
mean.
have
Yeah.
the representation up here. I
Right.
know I made a Facebook post. I talked to Scott Butcher. I was like, "Yo, man, get me on wilderness. I've been fishing out of a wilderness system for this is going on my 4th year now. I just got the new Recon. The thing's badass. It's such a good boat. I'm so excited for it. I'm like, hey, you guys got no representation. You got Brian Balsner up here, maybe some saltwater guys or a guy that I know of, but it's like I would love to represent stuff like that,
Right.
wilderness systems, but nothing yet. I mean,
It's still pretty new.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And like I said, I gotta prove, I gotta put my name out there more. I gotta
Right.
make some big moves, and hopefully I can do it.
Yeah, dude. Well, you got what it takes. I mean, we just got to keep repeating,
Yeah,
repeat.
yeah, that's the hard part. I
Yeah.
mean, one is a fluke, honestly. So if I can stay that way, like consistent, that'd be great.
Well, cool, man. I'll let you go. Is there anyone you want to thank real quick that makes fishing easier for you? Whether it's a company, friends, family, whatever. This is your chance to tell people where they can follow you, but also give love back to those who deserve it.
Yeah, yeah. First off, I want to thank my fiance, who, I have a kid who's coming up on a year old, so she takes care of him while I'm gone, and I wouldn't be able to do it without her doing that. So first off, I want to thank my fiance Lauren, and my little guy Oliver. Um, And then anybody who has ever, checked in on me and said, "Oh, wow, you did great. Thanks." That, and then Dakota Lithium. They're I want to give a huge shout out because anything that I need from them, they're a phone call away, and then I have what I need. And that's a product that I will absolutely fully back and represent because they are a super light, super dependable battery. Not just BSing. I mean, I had a lead acid battery for my trolling motor, and then I made the switch, and it's 67 pounds to 25, and I've had zero issues with it, and I've a million charges. So I can't thank Stormy and Dakota enough for letting me represent them. And other than that, I mean, sponsors, what's up?
Well, cool, man. Well, dude, I'm happy for you. It's cool seeing people that I know, win, and especially when it's another Northeast guy. But keep it up. Good luck with the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll either see each other in May or talk before then. But looking forward to seeing you soon, man.
Yeah, Josh, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, ciao.